back to Julie's Wreath Boutique. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple bubble type loop of a wreath, and we're going to use mesh, we're going to use poly burlap. I'm going to show you how to make this bow with the pro bow, the hand. I'm also going to show you how you can take a Dollar Tree heart, and let me show you here. We're going to take a Dollar Tree package and we're going to transform it into something that we can use in a wreath, and it has more flexibility in how we use it. And then if that's not enough, you can take these hearts out and make it an Easter wreath. So not only are we going to use this for Valentine's Day, but we're going to be able to use it for Easter as well. So stay tuned and let's have some fun making a wreath together. So let's get started. We are going to take a Dollar Tree wreath form. I am using this silver one that I found, I want to say last fall. I kind of feel like my local Dollar Trees here where I live haven't been putting out as much stuff lately. So when you see these silver ones, I would grab them. I really like the fact that they're a lighter in color than the black ones that you normally get. So one of the tips that I actually learned from one of you, and if you're watching this video, thank you very much. What I find is that the tips of the brackets here are a little sharp. So one of you guys told me to take a glue gun and just put a dot of glue over them, which I did. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then I just let it dry. So then that way, when we are running anything through, or when it hangs on somebody's door or your door, you know that that's not going to scratch your door. And you could even put a piece of felt, a little piece of a dot felt over it as well. So let's get started, and I want to kind of tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. I ordered this mesh in the mail and I thought, oh, that would be so pretty. And it's pretty, right? But here's the problem. When you open up the mesh, you can, and this is the darker color, you can hardly see the colors. So I thought, okay, so what am I going to do with this so that you can see the colors better? Well, I thought, well, let's get out some white poly burlap, and I'm going to use a white 10-inch roll of poly burlap just because this gives just a better background for us. It's like a better base than just maybe a Deco mesh. So when I put it up against that, you can start seeing the color, but it still isn't really predominant. So even though this is a very vibrant color with all the different colors in it, it still doesn't like pop out at you like if it had been made on poly burlap. So what we're going to do is we're going to layer this. And I do want to tell you, you could use Deco mesh if you have it. Like here's a white. Let me show you what it would look like if you had the same mesh. So you can see it a little bit. It's not quite as predominant, but so we're going to work with the poly burlap. Okay. So we're going to just take the mesh and we're going to put the colorful mesh over top of the white mesh. And we're just going to gather it at the edge here. And I'm going to take my wreath frame. I'm also going to cut all this off because it's bugging me. Okay. And I am going to start on this wire. Let's go over the wires. You've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to start on wire 3. And we're going to go through this whole wreath once, and then we're going to go to the outside and do it as well. So I'm going to run the tail of my poly burlap and Deco mesh, and I'm just going to attach it with a zip tie. Now you could do this with a pipe cleaner if you want to do a pipe cleaner. That's totally up to you. And I'm probably going to trim some of that when I get to the edge here, or to the end. All right. So as you can see, I have a new mat. I thought the other one was getting kind of sad looking, so it was time to get a new one. You can get this, my wire cutters, anything that I use in my videos, you'll find in my Amazon affiliate store, and the link is in the description box below. So what we're going to do is we're going to just roll this out, and I'm going to use this mat because I like the fact that I can use it for measuring. It's just really helpful. So I have my gathered spot at the 10 spot. So I want to have like 10 inches from this point to the next point. So I'm just going to gather it. Okay. And this is what I like about poly burlap. It will help hold its shape, and that's what I like about poly burlap. So we're going to connect it on that same bar that we started, bar 3. And I'm going to just take another zip tie. Now you could just use a work form if you wanted to do that, but I've never been a big fan of those because they pretty much say, okay, this is where that's going to be, and I want to have the flexibility to put it wherever I want. So I'm going to move this again. This is at my 10 spot, and I'm going to move this down, and at the 20 mark on my board, I'm just going to again gather it up, make my poof, and attach it on that same bar. Okay, this way our poofs will be pretty, what do you call it, pretty symmetrical. Is that the right word I'm looking for? All right, so let's see, we have 1 poof. I'm thinking 3 poofs per section is what I'm gonna do. So let's go ahead and cut that off, and we'll look at the first section after we do that first one. So I'm at the 10 mark. I'm gonna roll this out, and at the 20 mark here, I'm going to just gather, I'm gonna push it over and attach it to that same wire. We're only gonna stay on bar 3. We're not gonna change anything right now. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I think that 3 poofs do pretty well. As you can see, we have our bubbles going all the way around. And at this point, honestly, you could just do 1 layer, okay? You could just do 1 layer and be done. If you used maybe like a smaller wreath frame that wasn't as wide as this Dollar Tree, because this Dollar Tree is about that wide, it's about, a good 3 inches. If you use maybe a smaller one, you wouldn't see, my only worry is that you're gonna see the outside of the frames, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep going with this wreath, but if all you have is 2 rolls and you can't go anymore because you don't have enough, this is enough. This is a good base to make a really cute little wreath on, and you could be done, okay? But I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna keep it going around, because I have more poly burlap and I have 1 more roll of this mesh, so I'm just gonna keep going around the wreath. So we have 1 more loop to put in on that, the 3rd bar there. So again, I'm just using my mat here, and I use it as my measuring. You know, you could always just get out a ruler, or I have these smaller rulers that I do use. But so I'm going to put this last loop on that 3rd wire, and I'm not going to cut anything. I'm going to keep going because I will eventually have to add new mesh here, and that's okay. I'm just going to cut this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to work on the 2nd bar. So here's the first one, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3 is what we started on, and bar 4, which is the inside bar, which we're not going to use. So we're going to go and we're going to put our loop on to this bar on the next section. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to just measure it out here and do my gather, and then I'm just going to put it on that, connect it on that frame, or that bar. Kind of hard for you guys to see, but I'm going to show you in just a second. All right. So as you can see, now we're working on the 2nd bar of our frame, okay? So we're not worried about that first bar. We're working on the 2nd one and the 3rd one. And I'm going to keep the process along of doing 10 10-inch bubbles here. I'm still working on this, and I wanted to come back and tell you what I ended up doing, because a lot of times when I'm making these wreaths, I'm making them for the first time and I'm showing you the steps as I go. So I always want to make sure that you know what to do. What I'm finding as I go around, I'm only doing 2 poofs per section. And because these are laying down, they're kind of laying a little differently, and I just kind of think I like the look of it. So even this is the original that I was using, and as you can see, let's see, we're already almost halfway through here. So we're only doing 2 poofs for that outside section of our wreath. So I guess I just want to make sure that you know that I'm not doing 3 on the outside. We did 3 on the middle, and we did 2 per section on the outside. Now, if you were wanting to make this and say you only had 1 roll of each of these products, then you could do 2 on the inside and 2 on the outside, and then just make sure you have enough ribbon to cover any of the bare spots. So I just wanted to kind of share that little kind of nugget of information, if you call it that, and just show you that you're not going to need a whole lot. It's kind of up to you whether or not you wanted to use more product. So I'm going to just keep doing this, and I'm going to finish it off, and then we will start on decorating it. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do for this wreath is I'm going to make a bow. Now, I have the Pro Bow the Hand. This is the bow maker of my choice that I like the best. And if you're interested in one, I really do recommend these, because they do keep your bows consistent, and they give you the most options for bow making that's out there right now. This is, again, in my Amazon shop. So what I also want to let you know, that if you don't have a bow maker, don't worry. You don't have to have a bow maker to make a beautiful bow. I'm going to leave a link for a bow making video that I did last year, and I show you by hand, and you've seen me many times make a bow by hand, and I want you to watch that video if you don't have a bow maker or can't get a bow maker, and watch that and make a bow that way, okay? So we're going to use this, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have my ribbons, and I got these from Hobby Lobby and Joann's, and honestly, I don't keep a lot of like spring ribbon on hand. I have a lot of Christmas ribbon, but I don't make a lot of wreaths like this. So you're going to put your rolls on the ribbon holder right here. And I have each of them here. So I have all 3 of my ribbons stacked. I have the smaller one on top. And I'm just going to gather it here. And I'm going to take my wire. I have 22 gauge wire. And I'm going to take it in about the middle. And I'm just going to wrap my wire tightly around that little end that we made, okay? So what I have is my fingers, or whatever you call them, are on row D, and we have 4 pegs here and 4 pegs here. We are not going to put anything on the center row. Okay, so we're going to row D, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 on each side. So for the right and for the left. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to go around the first loop here. Now here is my base. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top wire and just wrap it around clockwise until it's all the way wrapped around. And I use a lot of wire, and that's okay. And then, oops, it's real video, real life. Okay, I picked it up by that. Don't do what I just did. Then you're going to just take it and wrap it around that little nail that's sticking out, and then just simply lift it up and put it underneath. So don't pick this up thinking that you're going to pick this up. It will come out. So I know Regina's probably watching me thinking, oh Julie, what did you do? So what we're going to do is this is our base. So when we get here, I'm going to gather it, and then I'm going to flip it. So bottoms up is what Regina says, who's the inventor of this. And so I twisted, and now I'm going to wrap around the right finger, the number 1 right finger. I'm going to come back, we're going to gather it, twist it, and wrap it up, and we're going to go around this second finger. I'm gonna come back to the base, and I'm keeping it pretty straight here. And I'm gonna twist it up, put it around finger number 2 on the right, come back to your base, twist it and flip it up, go around number 3, come back to the base, I'm gonna gather it and then twist it up. So I'm going like this, okay? I'm gonna go around the 3rd finger. I'm gonna go back to the base. See, and I could walk away. If my kids needed something, I could walk away right now and could come back to this. That's what I like about this. I'm going to take it, I'm gonna gather it and twist it up. Oh, I'm running out of ribbon here. So I'm wondering, let's see here. I'm not sure. I only have these smaller. Yeah, I think we're going to do this one and then we're going to do that one. I only have these smaller rolls. You can get better rolls at like the Wreath Shop, craftoutlet.com, Trendy Tree. There's a whole lot. And even Provo the Hand, if you go to her Facebook site, she sells ribbon too, I believe. All right, so we're going to do that and we're going to come back. So, all right. So as you can see, that was 3 yards, okay? So what we're gonna do is we are going to probably just have it a bow and not have any tails, and that's okay. So what I'm gonna do, you probably would need about 4 yards to make it have tails, but these 2 rolls only had 3. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unwrap my wire, okay? I'm gonna pull it here. I'm gonna pull out what was underneath of my board and unwrap it here. And now I'm going to twist it and make sure I get it really nice and tight. Okay? All right, so that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these wires or this ribbon. And then I'm going to take this off and we're going to, so here is our ribbon. So now all I'm going to do is we have 2 sides here. And we are just simply going to, and you can get a fluff box, but I'm gonna just try to show you without doing a fluff box here. And you're just going to pull it out. Take our bow and we're just going to place it wherever you feel like, you know, you might have a spot that's probably not as desirable. I'm just kind of looking around. I think I'm just going to put it over here. And so I'm just going to run it through, down through where we originally had a gather and a zip tie down there. Okay. So we're just going to run it down through there and we will tie it on the back. Okay. Sometimes it wants to take a little time to get down there. Okay. So I don't want to pull this down too much into our wreath. So I'm just going to pull it down until I feel like, because what will happen is your bow will kind of get lost. And I said that once we get it on here, we'll probably kind of play with it some more, but I think those colors look really pretty. So I like where this is sitting on my wreath, so I'm just simply twisting the wires in the back just to secure it. And then I'm just going to cut them here. And then let's just see. See, I just twisted that in the back. And roughly, I ended up putting the bow where I ended, so I'm just going to bend those wires back into the frame so no wires are sticking out. But I think that's really super cute, guys. At this point, you could leave it at this point. You could just say, okay, I'm done. But here I'm going to talk about my vision right now for this wreath. I'm thinking, okay, it's Valentine's Day soon. This is at the end of January that I'm filming this of 2020. But if you're watching this, let me know what year you're watching this or when you watch this. But my point is why don't we make this wreath a Valentine's wreath, a spring wreath, and an Easter wreath? And the reason why I say that is I think that we could add some heart decorations to this and make it Valentine's and simply take those out and add some Easter eggs. So we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what we're going to put through the wreath. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been really jealous of all the videos I've been seeing of people who've been able to get these at Dollar Tree. I have not been able to find these till today. And today is like January 27th. So it took a while for my Dollar Trees to get them, or maybe they just would go out as soon as they came in. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to kind of adapt these. Because they're sticks, they're not really going to stay in really well unless you like glued them. So I'm going to just take off the sticks. And I'm going to simply take a piece of wire, or you could even take, let's see, those pipe cleaners. But I'm thinking the wire is going to be a better solution for me. And then I'm going to take my glue gun. And I'm just going to add a dab of glue at the bottom here. Just a dab, not a lot. Put my glue gun back on the stand. And I'm going to just run that wire down into that heart, okay? So then when I want to put this on, don't go too far, the wire came out of that heart. When I want to put these on, I can just wrap them around the frame, and then I can just either clip them out or I can just unwrap them around the frame and put some eggs in this for Easter. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and I'll come back and show you how we're going to do the eggs the same way. Okay, so I have the hearts already made, but today I found these really cute little Easter eggs, and of course they're in buffalo plaid. You know I love buffalo plaid, so I had to get them. I did get these at Hobby Lobby. These were at the Dollar Tree, and then these, I believe I got these last year from the Target dollar spot, and I bet you they have them there too. But if you're going to do the same thing, you're just going to, like, for this one, you're just going to pull out that little tail of a ribbon, and you're just going to do the same thing, okay? And then you're just going to let this dry, all right? And then you'll have an egg that you can wrap in and put into your wreath, okay? But this one, let's just try to do this one. This one is a little different. We might have to put a little bit of a hole there. Looks like there's a little hole there, but I'm going to just grab my, I have these really sharp scissors that I really like, and they're for like little jobs like this. And you're going to be really careful. And I'm just going to put a little bit of my own hole right there, okay? Then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. And then just run my wire through it. And then that way I have a bunch of these little eggs that I can put into my wreath and transform it from Valentine's, take it off maybe for spring, and then at Easter put some of these in as well. So it's kind of my version of a versatile holiday wreath for you. Okay, so the next step, and I've been working here a little bit, so excuse my mess. We're going to make some of these little just ribbon accents to put in our wreath. So what I want to do is we are going to use this Deco Mesh 2-inch ribbon. It comes on a roll like this, has quite a bit of ribbon on it, so it will last you quite a long time. It is 2 inches, maybe 2.5, a little bit over 2. It's more like 2.5 inches. Okay, so we're going to cut these at 10 inches. So you're going to need 2 of these. And then you're going to need, let's do a plaid one. We're going to cut one of these at 20 or 10 inches, not 20, 10. And then I'm going to take my smaller ribbon here and cut it at 10 as well. And you don't have to be exact. It's not necessary to be exact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them on top of each other, crisscross. Remember crisscross applesauce? So I'm just going to keep layering the different directions. Okay. And so at this point, you're going to just gather it in the middle. Okay. Take one of your pipe cleaners or Chanel stems, whatever you like to call them. And I'm gonna go over top and then I'm gonna twist it, okay? So at this point, you can make the edges of your ribbon any which way you want. I'm just gonna put them at an angle, not any particular direction. I should do that again. And then what I will do, I will even take it, you know what, I even like to cut this at an angle. And you can always like put a little bit of Mod Podge on that to help it not to fray if you're worried about that. Okay. All right, and I have another one here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make, I wanna say about probably 7 to 10 of these, and then we're gonna put them in our wreath. Okay, so now it's time to put the embellishment on our wreaths, and I am just gonna take one of our pre-made ribbon accents. I'm not really sure if there's a correct term or anything, so let me know in the comments if there is. And I'm just going to kind of stagger these throughout the wreath and just attach them to the wire wreath frame itself. So there's not really gonna be any, you know, like scheme for me, I guess, or like exactly where I want it. I just am gonna go along here and see if it looks good, and that's where I'm gonna put them, okay? So I'm just gonna kind of pull them out because you're just wanting that ribbon just to kind of stick out a little bit, you know? It's not the main point of this wreath, it's just kind of to accent throughout the wreath. So I put one there, so now I'm gonna go up a little bit and put one right here. And I'm just gonna go around and add all of these, and we'll see how many we add at the end here. And we will then put in our hearts. Or if you wanna do the Easter eggs, you could do the Easter eggs. So anyways, either ways, this is more of a spring wreath, but you could do this in fall colors. You could put little pumpkins. You could do all sorts of things. So as I go from plaid to pink, I'll go back to another plaid here. And I guess I am kind of zigzagging just a little bit for my wreath frame. And I'm just gonna add these and we'll come back and we'll add the hearts. Okay, so as you can see, I like to kind of I like my bow to be at like 10 to 11 o'clock if you were using a clock analogy. I really like the way all this ribbon is just kind of peeking out. I think it really adds to it. You don't have to use this deco mesh. You could use just another accent ribbon if you want. So let's go over basically what supplies we've used so far. We've used a Dollar Tree frame. We've used 1 roll of the white poly burlap and 1 roll of the kind of a rainbow mesh. So you could use any type of mesh that you wanted to use that had like a design or a pattern or color on it. I did add a little bit of a second roll, but I really do think that you could do less. If you just did 2 less loops in the middle, you could make 1 roll work, okay? Then I used, let's see here, for this bow, we ended up using 9 yards of ribbon. And then we had more ribbon that we used, I believe another 9 yards in total. We used pipe cleaners. And so at this point, we're gonna take our little accents of the hearts, and all you're gonna do, and this is probably a little long, so I'll have to cut these down, is you're just gonna take them and throughout your wreath, you're just gonna stick them down wherever you want them to be, okay? So I'm gonna just try to put one down in here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull it down. And because it's on that wire, I can just kind of have it like, you know, sticking out any way I want it to stick. And then I'm just going to pull this over. I'm going to show you. And then I'll just wrap it around. When I get it the length that I want it, I'm just going to wrap it around the frame here. Looking for my wire cutters. There they are. And then I'll just cut that and I'll run that down into the wreath. Okay. So all you're going to do is you're just going to put your hearts throughout and then you have your wreath. Now remember, if you want, you could also add, make this an Easter wreath, and you could just put little Easter eggs throughout it as well. But I'm going to keep it as a Valentine's wreath for now. I might take a picture of the Valentines for you, and then take a picture of the eggs, just so that this is kind of a versatile wreath. And you could do this for fall. You could do this for summer if you wanted to do it like a July 4th theme, and then just take out maybe some of the more patriotic things and put more summery things. Well, here's the end product. I had put all the little hearts in, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I know this is not a flower wreath, but this is just something different, but I wanted to kind of show you a different kind of wreath that you can make. And I also wanted to show you how you could take a Valentine's wreath and even turn it into a Easter wreath. So if you made it this far in this video, number one, thank you for watching. Number two, make sure you join my group called Wreath Creators and More if you're on Facebook. Number three, if you're on Instagram, follow me there and let me know you came from YouTube. And number four, if you made it this far, leave me an emoji that reminds you of spring. So we'll see you next time in Julie's Wreath Boutique, where we'll be creating something beautiful.